Hanging out with my guy Austin Ward tonight. We were just going over an 11 Warriors list of top 25 plays since the year 2000. I think mine, and it doesn't get recognized as iconic or anything of that sort. But when I hear like just a favorite play, it's something that you haven't seen before or see very rarely. It's the onside kick that Ohio State kicked against Maryland.
Oh my gosh.
When they're up 14-0 with 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And I forget the kicker's name, but he put it right on a tee to a darting Chris Olave on the sideline who caught it in full stride. One of the most bonkers bananas plays you'll ever see in a football game.
Yeah. You talk about a double take. I'm in the press box looking down. I'm like, did they just throw that to Olave? How did that even happen?
What just happened? And I'm like, if you're able to continue running after you caught that ball, Chris Olave is scoring a touchdown. Yeah. He's got two defenders, one behind him and one running straight at him. Like he's making a cut and he is going to the end zone.
You should be allowed to run it. I've always thought that was weird.
Yeah, you should be.
If you can kick it down the sideline to one of your gunners and they catch it, good for you.
I'd never seen that before.
No.
I likely will never see it again.
You'll never see it again. I've seen like people pluck an onside kick out of thin air and then return it for a touchdown.
I've seen Evan Spencer do that in Bloomington, not return it for a touchdown when Indiana was making a ferocious comeback.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
Mm-hmm.
2012, we talking about there?
Yes.
Zach Bourne's move to linebacker, turning into a 5-hour game.
I don't even remember how much they were up by, but it was like 30, and then Indiana, whoosh.
Yeah, you can't take your foot off the gas in Bloomington, let me tell you.
Not at the quarry, not with the bison on the herd.
No, absolutely not. Look out for those American bison.
You get a play like that kind of stands out, that it is not like iconic in any sense, but you remember it for what it was.
Well, I feel like that Maryland game was just the most off-the-rails game because you had that play, and then you had Denzel Burke lighting up whoever it was from Maryland. You got Gus Johnson going, you got barbecue back there.
That's true. That's a good point. That's an iconic call from Gus, is what that is. Great play. Fantastic play.
I'm trying to think of something like more unusual or quirky. I think you have found the ideal example of an Ohio State play that's rare. There was also one that's...
How about Tate Martell going 10 for 10 against 10. Rutgers?
No, we don't need... That one doesn't count. There was a kickoff return in 2013 against Purdue. This is a real deep cut. Ohio State was still talking about it a year later. Ezekiel Elliott was trying to earn playing time. I remember having this conversation with Stan Drayton, and he's getting choked up, writing this story about all the things that Zeke can do. And they're like, man, I knew he was special because Zeke pancaked this guy on a kickoff return. I was like, what? So not something about
the way that he runs the football.
Not anything about that, or like something you've seen in practice. He's like, we knew we had something because you're like, you have this opportunity on special teams. And so
he took it.
I was like, I don't know what. He's like, you remember that play against Purdue? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Actually, Coach, no, I don't.
And so he said, check this out. He's like, look at this block. I'm like, I know that Zeke can block. He's pass protection. He's a physical player. He's very good. No.
Watch this block.
He takes this guy like 10 yards to the sideline and then like buries him and decleats him into the bench.
Throws him out of the club.
And I'm like, well, that is pretty cool, actually. But you can understand why maybe I didn't see it watching the actual kickoff return or sitting in the press box or not being a coach. I didn't have the access to the all-22 of Zeke as a freshman burying somebody in this Purdue game that was 42-0.
That may be one of the deepest dives on this show.
So I wrote about it because I'm like, this is crazy. And Stan Drayton is like being moved to tears by Zeke's effort blocking somebody on a kickoff.
Hey, shout out to Stan Drayton, man.
I love Stan Drayton.
That guy just loves ball. And one of his dudes is putting a Purdue Boilermaker just on his back onto a sideline. You don't cry about that, there's something wrong with you. You don't love ball. Coach Drayton did.
Do you know what other play doesn't get talked about enough?
There's just so many.
I know. Why didn't we just do the whole show?
You know what? We have tomorrow.
The play that I think doesn't get talked about enough is Justin Fields at Michigan in 2019. It looks like he's dead. He's coming off the field. You got Chris Chuganoff coming in.
Yeah, the chugster.
He gets a great third down. And you're like, well, maybe Ohio State can just at least patch this together. And Justin Fields hobbles back out of the medical tent.
Oh, yeah, the straight up. Here, let's call game right here.
Can't walk. It's like, why are they putting him back in the game? It looks like that ankle is just dangling off of his body. And then he just goes straight back out there. Like, Chug, you're done here, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Justin Fields, and this is my team, and I'm going to win the Heisman right now. Watch this. And I can't believe he didn't win the Heisman, because we all know what would have happened if Ohio State got to play LSU in the national championship game. No one disputes it. It would have been a blowout. It would have been a boat race. Buckeyes by 1 billion over Joe Burrow.
More than 30. So
but
now
anyway,
you're adding.
Anyway, the ankle is dangling off his body. That's the way I remember seeing it. And Justin rolls out. He's got 1 foot. And Garrett Wilson just streaking to the back of the end zone. Absolute ball placement specialist effort from Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson. Crazy catch. And I'm like, well, that's it. I mean,
he got 2 feet down too, I think.
Yeah.
Of course he did. He's Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
He always gets 2 feet down.
Why am I questioning that?
Is it this one?
Fields in the shotgun. Gets the snap. Looks to throw. Looking left. Running left. Still holding the ball as if to throw. Cranks and fires toward the end zone. Wilson still for a touchdown. Garrett Wilson. The Buckeye freshman receiver underneath a pass from Justin Fields. Just back in off of injury. A 30-yard touchdown pass. And Ohio State is up their lead to 41-16 over Michigan.
Yeah, there are plays that Paul and Jim describe that we've listened to a lot. I don't think I've ever listened to that play again outside of the week that we obviously played that cut a million times. But when they're announcing it, I can see Justin Fields in my mind without even having it up on a screen.
Yeah.
It's burned into my memory.
I remember the feeling. I remember changing the whole column that I was writing about, and we don't need to get into the details or the specifics of what I wrote about the rivalry never turning the other direction or how impossible that was going to be, because I couldn't have anticipated that Jim Harbaugh would capitalize on a cheating scandal in COVID to turn the tide. But that's neither here nor there. The feeling that I had was like, I've never seen, how did that happen? Justin Fields was in the tent over there and just went straight out to the field and did something that most humans could never, they wouldn't even dream of doing what he did.
Let alone being rushed back from the emergency tent.
And I the feeling is similar to what I talked about with Mike Thomas and Evan Spencer in that play. It was like, you knew in the moment you were watching something that was extraordinary and special. In all the other scenarios, you couldn't have concocted this moment, and yet somehow this magic occurred. Like Justin Fields, hey, you've made this throw before. You've never done it in the big house, in the cold, in a difficult competitive situation, and also you're going to do it not in the flow of a drive. You're going to have to leave the evaluation tent because your ankle just got crushed. Like, you think you can do it?
When you put it that way.
I mean, you couldn't dream it up.
And then you have
you wouldn't even want to.
Well, you have Fields in the Clemson game in the Sugar Bowl during the COVID year where he gets annihilated and is looking lifeless on like the 20 or something like that. Next
Probably
play,
dealing with a punctured lung.
Got targeted.
Yeah, targeted.
Yes, he did.
Then next play or so throws it to Olave for a touchdown in the end zone. Then in the second half, he has that 60-yard or however long bomb it was to Olave that just killed Clemson.
I remember
a testament to his toughness, really.
It really was. And I think it was, I can't remember if it was some organ was lacerated on this hit.
Yeah.
I think it was a kidney.
I think it was his kidney.
And I think we spent the next 10 days preparing for the national championship, and it was like, oh, is Justin Fields' thigh and knee okay? And I'm like, I think he's bleeding inside.
It's not a great situation.
That's not what's wrong with him. But, he was such a tough player. And the fact that he didn't win the Heisman and Ohio State came up short, didn't win a national championship, didn't have the opportunity to play for a national championship after it was stolen from them
team
in the desert.
I think it's my favorite ever.
That's a great team to be your favorite.
I think some of those plays then get lost to memory because of that, which is fair and it's human nature. But the feeling that I had watching what Justin Fields did in that moment, and Garrett Wilson, like a sensational catch, and he's awesome. I loved covering Garrett Wilson too, but just the fact that it was the rivalry, the fact that he was nearly dead, which is how serious those ankle injuries can be, and then to go deliver in that moment, it was like it was jaw dropping. Like you feel like almost. I can't imagine what it feels like to be Justin Fields doing that, because just watching it, you're like, this is a video game. Like, there's no way that happened. It's not
you
real.
can't just rush him back into play.
Turned injuries off after it happened, so he comes back.
Yeah, immediately come back and then throw a touchdown. How about Cardale Jones smoking Landon Collins in the Sugar Bowl? Just putting his head down and running through him. Also, another play that doesn't get talked about enough, but since we're doing this conversation, that deserves to be in there. We'll do hashtag
You
Buckeyes.
didn't even say your play. I just hijacked the entire segment.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it in our next segment. Who cares? Hashtag Buckeyes next. It's the Buckeye Show.